All right, let's begin right away. The Independent National Electoral Commission says it has registered more than 14 million new voters between April 2017 and August 2018.
INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yaqub disclosed this in Abuja at a meeting with resident electoral commissioners. With the new figure, Yakubu says the country now has a voting population of 84.27 million ahead of the 2019 elections. All right, we have joining us from our Abuja studio, Razak Ulukoba, a public affairs commentator. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Good to see you all the way in Abuja, usually in the studio with us here.
Morning, Razak.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay,
good morning, viewers.
Yes, this seems to be a marked improvement. What does it indicate for you? I mean, 69.7 million voters in 2015, registered voters in 2015, as against the new figure that INEC has given us, 84.2 million registered voters.
Well, that's a good thing. You said it before a break, that politically conscious. Two things has accounted for what has happened now. One, politically conscious and having faith in the process is the word. Because if you are conscious and you don't have confidence in the process, nobody will go out to do it. This surge is an improvement, and it shows clearly that the process on ground is transparent and encouraging. And February this year, the figure they gave us was that Northwest and Southwest is leading in terms of numbers of registered voters. Southeast is the least registered. Lagos is taking the lead by over 6 million voters, followed by Kano. While Bayelsa, that has about 744,000 voters, as the least registered voters. We need this breakdown so as to ascertain and marry it with numbers of the population we have in each state and in each region. One thing is coming to play now that Nigeria is beginning to work, and the direction the INEC is pushing the process towards is very encouraging. I want them to do more. I want a situation where all Nigerians will have a voter's card, just like the way we have a national ID card. Because election, as you agree with me, is a festival where people from various political backgrounds come together to showcase what the party they have faith in, marry and compare what each parties have to do in terms of manifesto. So it's an encouraging. I want INEC to continue with what they are doing. I want them to correct all the excesses, all the errors and the mistakes that were there. All the people that were not registered before or that were of age. Between now and December, they promised us 80 million registered voters. But before December, they gave us 84. So I gave them the challenge that before the year runs out, between now and December, we should be getting 100 million registered voters. Nigeria is 25% of the population of Africa. The country must work. You must show example to the rest of Africa that you are leading. You are a giant, not only in terms of population, but in content and character, in performance, in good governance, and in making your apparatus and nation work. You should show that example. So that's encouraging. I encourage INEC to continue to do that.
All right, Razak, let's talking about consciousness. Like it seemed that's the word we started with, and you also resonated with the word. But we know that there's still so many millions of PVCs uncollected. How does this increased number in registration translate to political consciousness if we have these people not going to claim their PVCs?
Well, several things are responsible for that. The apathy of the past and repeated disappointments by Nigerians of the politicians are responsible for that. And the way things plays out politically in Nigeria now, I don't think anybody is interested in not having a PVC. The civil society day in, day out, which are one of the leaders of the society in the country. We have organized series of programs. We have educated them that you don't have right to complain or any excuse. If you want to decide your fate, you don't take part in it. You allow someone to determine your fate on your behalf, and you complain, you don't have a right. The way to determine your fate politically and in terms of who governs you is by force. The first step is to get your PVC. And the apathy of that pass and coercion by various stages of levels of government, either local government, states, that if you don't get your PVC, your children will not be allowed into school, was responsible for why people registered in the past. But today, the reasons are different now. People want to know who is going to govern in terms of who is your councillor, who is your chairman, who is your governor, and who is your president. Consciousness is daily increasing. And the people who have not collected their voters card, if you check the data, a year ago to now, you will discover that it's increasing. We are following the trend. Of course, there are still cards, pile of cards that have not been collected. But the game is changing. The pattern is changing. The attitude is changing. People get more cards now. We follow the pattern. We follow the trend. We collect data all over the state. The coming Osun election, follow it closely. You discover that the participation of 4 years ago and now is going to be, it will be different in terms of increase in participation and increase in interest of Nigerians to know who is my governor, who is my senator. So I agree with you. And let me say one thing, that this kind of process is continuous. INEC don't have to stop. That's why I like what Buhari is doing.
Okay, little interference.
There's some signals from the audience.
The BVN contract awarded by Jonathan's administration, Fashola paid contractors to go back to site. So the PVC thing and the sustained political consciousness in terms of electing and educating the voters of the importance of PVC cards is a thing that we must commend President Buhari's administration for. So I agree with you. There are people, because we are part of the process, we engage, we interact with INEC, and they tell us their challenge. We tell us their challenge too, that people find it difficult to see their card. People cards who are available are not coming to court. And we are minding that they are sorting it out. And you can see transparency and genuineness in what they are doing. So it's a gradual thing. It's going to continue. Before the year runs out, you will see that there will be tremendous improvement in that.
All right. Of course, it's one thing for people to actually be conscious enough to pick up their PVCs. It's another thing to actually go out there to vote. Like you said, vote. A lot of people are picking up their PVCs because they believe it will, allow them register their kids in schools and all of that. But now, let's even take the discussion a bit wider on the issue of issues as a national discourse. The discourse doesn't seem to be going around or narrowing down to exactly what the political gladiators actually have to offer. It's more about between the two major political parties. Nobody really seems to be talking about the other parties. I mean, we have 91 of them.
I can't hold you responsible. I don't want to hold you responsible for that. The parties who are major officers of those parties should do something. What did APC do that got them to where they are today? What did PDP do that got them to where they are today? Labour Party, ADC, ADP, COA Party, and all those parties should begin to do things to draw attention, maybe in terms of their manifesto, maybe in terms of the individuals that are members of their party. Because, you see, programs matters a lot. Today in Nigeria, nobody who wants to know, for instance, in the last election, there were serious arguments about buying vote and not buying vote. Today in Nigeria, any party who is contesting for any election will think twice before you field candidate. You must consider credibility, you must consider acceptability, you must consider importance, the profile. And what the candidate has to offer. So other parties should also gear up. There are countless of parties in America and Britain, but the most populous in America is Democrat and Republican. Maybe that's the pattern I want to follow here. But I don't think it is proper for us to accept and admit that we have only APC and PDP. Other political parties should come up with programs. They should come up with manifestos. They should come up with attractive and popular programs that would draw the attention of Nigerians to them. They should source for candidates. PDP has over 10 presidential candidates. And in PDP, yes. APC, we could conduct their primaries too. And even if you don't want to poach, there are individuals in Nigeria who have credibility, who are popular, who are acceptable. Go to individuals. You should not be waiting to be defeated, which is the attitude I've seen in the remaining parties. They are waiting for PDP or APC to defeat them. In their consciousness, they assume that they cannot win the election, they can't win. So that picture is what I see in them, and it should change. The more we have participation, the more we have more political party on the platform, the better for Nigerians. Okay. It will give us the opportunity of choices, opportunity to choose and compare one candidate to the other.
All right.
Opportunity of
in that case, yeah, you're saying
manifesto, looking at each other's program. So
yes, you're saying that. You're saying the other political parties should work harder. That's what it is. And they can also go into alignment and realignment.
Yes, yes.
Now talking about voter enlightenment now, the people are becoming a little more conscious, like you said earlier. But are they doing this on their own? Or INEC or the political party, are they conducting or carrying out enough sensitization or voter enlightenment programs? Or the people are on their own are becoming enlightened by themselves?
You see, events in the political events in the country gets people to enlighten themselves. It compels people to know what is happening in government. What is happening? For instance, the irresponsible legislative attitude of our parliament in recent time gets more younger people to ask questions. Why are they shutting down the National Assembly? But I voted for Senator so. Why this is not the promise they made to us. So events in the country get people enlightened. Just like what I've mentioned, that do they have a right to shut down the parliament for whatever reason? That is parliamentary naivety. That is exuberance. That is accruing to themselves the power they do not have. So it gives Nigerians the opportunity to educate the younger ones that this is what is called politics. So there's a resolve by the younger element, by the younger people in Nigeria that I will never allow this type of element to enter into our parliament again. There's that consciousness. And to do that, you need a PVC. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is that we have been engaging government apparatus, the INEC, that Nigeria is predominantly a grassroots society. Over eliticizing programs of enlightenment will not work. So we encourage INEC, break down the eliticize the orientation, the sensitization. Go to markets, go to radio houses, go to social clubs, and we have a lot of local languages and dialects that we can translate the INEC brochures into. And they are doing that. And that accounts for the surge, the increase in the numbers of people who have registered now. That accounts for it. So we are adopting every known and legitimate method in collaboration with the civil society. And the party also are beginning to gear up. Gone are the days when you see political parties going to people who are not conscious, who are not educated to be members. Political parties are having graduates, professors as ward chairmen, secretaries of their political parties. So the education and enlightenment is increasing by the day. And what accounts for is what I've said earlier on, events in the country. Because this social media has done a lot for the nation and for the world. There's an opportunity for Nigerian youth to compare events, political events in their country to the political events of other countries. You see Kenya working politically. What's happening in Nigeria? They ask questions. So it's helping a lot, and it's beginning to give the youth inspiration. It's beginning to incite them to pay attention to political happenings around them. So,
all right.
By and large, what I'm saying in essence is that, yeah?
Yes,
Hello?
if I may come in very quickly. I've been talking about voter education and the need for INEC and the political parties to actually do more. Should it include voter education as far as the handling of the PVC is concerned? Because INEC says about 1.1 million requests for replacement of PVCs, you know, many of them damaged, many lost and all of that. Of course, Nigerians are known to handle the naira in a very, very way that is not very encouraging. Should there be any kind of penalties really for mishandling or rough handling of the PVC? Because it will cost INEC to produce an, an extra 1.1 million.
I am also part of the 1 million that has requested for replacement, and it's not as a result of my mishandling. The pictures is not thick enough. It's faint enough. It's not thick enough. I put mine.
It's not thick enough. I put mine in a wallet, and I have not removed since the last voting exercise, and the picture has faded off. See, for now, because there are states in Nigeria today that they give lunch to students for coming to school. There are states in Nigeria today that the mothers and fathers sell their shoes to train themselves. Approach of teachers to these two students must differ. We are seeing a nation where we are begging people to come out and vote, to come out and get their PVC. You are talking about penalty. I don't think it is appropriate for INEC to penalize anybody for now. We will get to that point where Nigerians will realize the importance of voting. When we get to that point, we can then begin to talk about penalties.
But when you say the cards, hold on, Razak, if I may come in, you just confirmed that your own card that you've been handling very well is actually faded, which raises the question as to the quality of the PVC in the first place. It's supposed to be a permanent voter card, not to last forever, but at least to last a long time. So should we begin to ask INEC some questions as to the quality of the PVC?
No, permanent in the sense that permanent in terms of content. Content, the serial, permanent in the sense of serial number, the content, your name. That's the context. That's the meaning of the permanence.
I do understand that. What about the longevity of the card itself?
Of the quality.
What about the longevity of the card itself?
No, INEC should answer that. But I think INEC will answer the question of quality. But what I'm saying is that in terms of what they refer to by permanent is the content there, that you won't come tomorrow to say that we want to change something about your serial number, we want to change some details about you. That's what they're talking about, that we have secured your data. We have saved it in a place that can never be lost. That is what they mean. Because we also asked that question, that define the meaning of this permanent voters card. What did you mean by that? And they told us that in the sense, not the quality of the card, but the content, we have been able to secure your data in a place where it can never be missing. We have your database. Even if your card, for instance now, if I'm replacing this card, I will not start from the scratch again. They will just pick tap the appropriate button, and they bring out my data, and they give me a replacement. So its permanency, in the definition of that permanency, is a replacement, data's base, and things like that. But like I have said, Ngozi, a time should come when we should begin to penalize people who mishandle property of the nation.
Okay.
Starting from the PVC, starting from our Naira note, international passport, and any government property. But it has to go in sequence. We are not used to facilities like this being sustained. You will discover that when FEDECO came in, it fed out what used to be INEC then. They didn't use it again. FEDECO left, another electoral agency came in, NECO. They phased out FEDECO. INEC also came, it faded out NECO. So it goes on like that.
Yeah.
But this time around, INEC has done something that has come to stay. And that's encouraging.
Okay.
And that is why there must be penalty that should guide things like that.
All right,
Party
Razak.
will always want to contest an election.
Yeah.
If you say that.
Yeah, Razak,
Yeah.
we're trying to check the time now. Let me ask you this before we go. INEC is saying it is ready to make, or it is going to make changes on election day administration at the polling units. From what you have been monitoring all this while, what do you think should change on the election administration at the polling unit? What do you think should change?
Well, in the interest of INEC, in the interest of INEC should induce more things that will attract credibility and acceptance. So I agree with INEC that the pattern of conduct of INEC officials should change. It's long overdue. For instance, if you look at registration of party members by political parties now, you will discover that each member's card has PVC serial number on it. That is for political parties. INEC should also come up with everything humanly possible to ensure that both local monitors, international monitors, Nigerians, and everybody has increased confidence in INEC. So if INEC is planning to moderate the administration of the process, I agree with it. It's high time. It is important for every Nigerian to see INEC and look at INEC and agree that INEC is a credible institution. So whatever INEC is coming up with, I will support it. I will assist them. I will campaign for them. I will mobilize around it for them, so far as it is legitimate, it is acceptable, and it is easy for Nigerians to key into.
All right, very quickly too, before we get on to the news updates, INEC has called on Nigerians to help in weeding out eligible or ineligible voters, you know, to clean up the voters register. Of course, they've said that the numbers, the 84 million, is likely to actually reduce. How can Nigerians assist INEC?
Yes, what I will tell INEC in this is that all over the world, if you look at statistics of countries, citizens of countries who volunteer to help government apparatus, I think 2 or 3 countries lead in the world. Nigeria is one of the least numbers of these who are willing to assist government in terms of things like this. What INEC should do is to call on sister agencies who have a database, BVN in banks, international passports, and agencies who have a database. In Nigeria, a child must either have a birth certificate on a national database or have an international passport, such that even if you give your age, INEC should have a database to compare with the database of securing an international passport or birth certificate or BVN or so. Or queue into the parents' database. You will see the details of the children. That's why I'm saying that PVC, permanent voters card, is permanent in the sense that the data are permanent. It's not going to change again. Tomorrow, if the sister agency like the custom or the immigration needs assistance from INEC, they will consult them. So INEC should also consult the immigration, consult the CBN, consult and marry these data together. Consult MTN, Airtel, communication industries, and all these agencies. Little can an individual do in Nigeria at the moment for that. Nigerians, we are still at the level where our consciousness has not inspired us to a point where we report such cases. We consider it not our business that INEC is getting paid for it. Why should I be the one reporting my neighbor's children for it? But the civil society are doing something about it.
Yeah.
The dangers
Razak.
about it and the implications. Nigerians are doing something about it. We are doing something about it.
All right,
but
Razak, we have to leave you here now.
To where every Nigerian will buy into it, we must do that.
All right, thank you so much, Razak Olokoba, for joining us on the program. We really appreciate your contribution on the program.